as a coach since you've been here. Could you provide some specific examples of what you think you've improved on, or what do you do better that you've learned in the 4 years that you've been here?
I think just from a game planning standpoint and an adjustment standpoint, just get to things faster, right? You see things a little bit quicker than when you're a younger coach, when you don't have experience. I think gaining just knowledge of what this team is, right, and how it changes week to week, how it changes year to year, just kind of from a prep standpoint of what guys can handle. I think that's been the number one thing that I've improved on over the course of time, being a coach.
You've obviously had a lot of success, like Royals Award finalists, those types of things. I know you don't seek those out, but when you have that level of success and people express interest in you, what is it that you feel like keeps you at Wisconsin or wanting to be a defensive coordinator, not a head coach? Are those things that you think about?
I think it validates what you're doing, right? You're always questioning what can you do better, and when you're getting recognition, it validates, I'm on the right path, we're doing the right things. We have a great staff here that helps me out. It's definitely not just me, so just trying to make sure those guys understand how valued they are as well. And but at the same time, there's only one place to do this job, that's home, and that's Madison for me. So that's the draw of staying with the Badgers. And we have a great locker room, we have great players. It's a good mix of guys that are very smart and talented. So I love that. I think it is truly what college football is about, is what we try to preach to our guys every single day, and what they value and what the culture of this program is.
You talk about prep. How do you prepare for a guy like Justin Herbert?
He's impressive. He's very, very talented. I don't think he gets enough credit for what they ask him to do. And he's a true progression quarterback. Most of these spread offenses that you look at, they don't ask the quarterback to do what they ask him to do. So I'm extremely impressed by him. More athletic than he gets credit for as well. I mean, there's a reason he's going to be one of the top quarterbacks in this upcoming draft. So I'm impressed with what he does. He makes you earn it every down. And I think you have to, within the structure of what you do, you have to try to confuse him. You have to try to provide different looks for him, because he's extremely intelligent, and you don't fool him very often.
Is there someone you would compare him to during your career at all, whether on the field or as a coach?
I mean, it's always hard when I look back at some of the NFL quarterbacks. I don't like comparing college guys there because they're not at that level yet. I would say in our league, who we play, Nate Stanley in Iowa, it's very similar just with what is on his plate, right? What they ask him to do, checking in and out of runs, how they give him tells in the pass game to help him get through his progressions. You watch one concept and the ball goes to every single guy. That's when you know a quarterback truly gets it, and it's not just they call a play, I throw it here, or I run. And to me, I think in the Big Ten, Stanley's probably the closest as far as what they put on the quarterback, and obviously this kid is special.
Wisconsin's won 5 straight bowl games, hasn't lost one since Paul came back. From preparing and during bowl season, what is it that you think you guys are doing well to put yourself in position to be successful that consistently?
I think Coach Christ and going back to Coach Alvarez and everyone before, the structure of how to prepare a team with extended time is tricky. And I think we do a good job of getting our guys rest. I think we do a good job of understanding that game plan wise, you have so much time to overthink things. You want to keep it simple enough where guys play fast. You don't want to get too complex. You need to have a few tweaks because they're going to have some things going into a bowl game. But I think it's all about balance. It's about balance, and it's not nearly as drastic as it was in the past when you had over a month in some cases to play a bowl game from your last regular season game. We don't have that time anymore, but I think that's what we've done a good job of creating a plan based on the amount of time that we have, and then just going out and executing the plan and being clear with our players.
This Oregon offensive line, they got over 200 combined starts between them all. What do you see from that group, and how difficult is it going to be a challenge will it be for you guys to generate the pressure that you're accustomed to?
I think this group, if they're not the best we've played all year, they're right up there. Extremely athletic, physical in the run game. I mean, it is not basketball on grass like everyone talks Pac-12. That's the narrative out there, right? They're a physical group. Running backs are downhill guys, and you watch this offensive line embarrass some people. And I think our guys understand the challenge that's at hand. And once again, these guys get out in space and they make some amazing plays for those wide receivers and get them open running backs. So we got our work cut out for us with that group up front.
Are there some young guys, that who are standing out in bowl prep that maybe got you excited for next year or the coming years?
I think there's a number of guys, and I don't necessarily know if there's anybody that we don't know about at this point, because with the freshman rule, a lot of these guys have seen the field. So I don't necessarily know if I need to point out any one guy, and it's a little bit different with us being in the Big Ten championship, right? It wasn't a huge period of let's just do developmental work and then you're bouncing in. So I think the guys have just continued with the right approach, and I like what that group has done. We've challenged them. Some of those young guys have gotten a decent amount of reps here over this last 3-week period, but I just like the whole progression throughout the course of the year. I think guys stayed focused, guys stayed hungry, and a lot of them have seen the field at some point this season to get that taste. And I'm excited for the offseason, but we got one big game to get before we transition to that.
You should have 9 starters coming back, just based on who's not a senior. At the 2 spots where you're losing Zach and Chris, what do you see there? Are Leo and Isaiah the guys that you anticipate stepping into that role, and what do they do well to give themselves a shot?
I think there's going to be great competition at those positions. Obviously, the production that Zach and Chris have had this year has been unbelievable. Just disruption week in and week out, and leadership. Right? It's hard to say you're going to take one of those guys out and you're going to get the same thing. So. That's, to me, it's going to be all about competition. Really, from the first day of off-season training all the way through fall camp, and creating depth. Right? It's one thing to say you're the starter, but you got to create depth to keep guys hungry, to keep them focused and to push. And I like the group that we have, but to say you're going to just say, Leo, you're the next guy, I don't know. He's got to earn that. Right? We love his approach. We love what he can do on the field. Obviously, he's getting reps as a true freshman. Same with Isaiah, right? He started early in the season and just got to continue to develop. And he's been in this program long enough to know exactly what he needs to do. It's out him to get it in his mind to just go out there and execute it, right? Once he gets back from the off season and to roll. So, but the number one thing is creating the depth, right? It's creating depth. Been fortunate on the defensive backside to have that, right? I mean, we're still going through changes with depth almost every week, and that's just a young group growing up, and that's part of the process. So we need to create that type of competition at every position.
When game planning